You're holding a $5 bill. It's slightly crumpled, slightly damp, fresh out of your pocket. The vending machine in front of you hums. Your stomach growls. Your thumb is already moving toward the coin slot for a soda and a bag of chips you don't actually need. What if you didn't spend it? For most of your childhood, money was something other people decided for you. Your parents tapped a card. A number changed on a screen. You didn't see where it came from or where it disappeared to. But somewhere around age 12, that starts to shift. The $5 in your hand right now is fully, completely yours to control, and the choice you make with it in the next 10 seconds says more about your financial future than almost anything you'll learn in a classroom. Here's a number that might surprise you. $5 a day, saved consistently from age 12 to age 18, adds up to roughly $11,000. Not invested, not earning interest, just $5 bills, stacked up, day after day for 6 years. $11,000, sitting in a drawer, built entirely from spare change you'd otherwise hand to a vending machine. Now stretch that same habit out. Keep it going, but this time put the money somewhere it can grow. Like a simple low-cost index fund. A single investment that automatically spreads your money across hundreds of different companies at once instead of betting everything on just one. Keep adding $5 a day all the way to age 65. Based on the stock market's long-term historical average return of around 7% a year. That same habit could realistically grow into something close to $900,000. Not because you got lucky. Not because you picked the right stock. Just because you started early, and you let time do almost all of the work. That second number is not a guarantee. Markets go up and they go down. Nobody can promise you 7%. But the math behind it is real. And it has a name: compounding interest. Compounding interest simply means your money earns money. And then that new money earns money too. Your $5 doesn't just sit there. It works a job, around the clock, while you sleep, while you're in class, while you're doing literally anything else. There's a simple shortcut investors use to understand compounding, called the rule of 72. Divide 72 by your interest rate, and you get roughly how many years it takes your money to double. At 7%, that's about 10 years. Double again every decade. Your $11,000 from your teenage years doesn't just sit at $11,000. It becomes 22, then 44, then 88. The number gets almost embarrassingly large the longer you leave it alone. This is exactly why the age you start matters more than the amount you start with. Picture two people. One starts saving $5 a day at age 12. The other waits until age 22, then saves the exact same $5 a day, just as consistently, for the rest of their working life. The early starter ends up with dramatically more money, even though the late starter saved for far more years in total. Why? Because those first 10 years weren't really about the dollars. They were about giving compounding interest a decade-long head start it can never fully give back once it's lost. Time, not effort, is the rarest ingredient here. And right now, at your age, you have more of it than almost anyone else making financial decisions today. But knowing the math isn't the same as actually doing it. And this is where psychology starts to matter more than arithmetic. In the late 1960s, a psychologist named Walter Mischel ran an experiment at Stanford University that's now famous as the marshmallow test. Researchers sat young children alone in a room with one marshmallow, and gave them a choice: eat it now, or wait 15 minutes and get 2 marshmallows instead. Some children grabbed it immediately. Others squirmed, distracted themselves, sat on their hands, and waited. Years later, follow-up research found that the children who'd waited tended to show stronger outcomes later in life, including better academic performance. Why? Because delayed gratification, choosing a bigger reward later over a smaller one now, is a skill, and like any skill, it gets stronger the more you practice it. Every time you choose to save that $5 instead of spending it, you're not just building money, you're training the exact same mental muscle those kids were using to resist the marshmallow. So let's reconstruct what that actually looks like in a real week. You've got $5 a day. Maybe it's allowance, Maybe it's babysitting money. Maybe it's cash from helping a neighbor move boxes. Monday, you walk past the vending machine and keep walking. Tuesday, a friend wants to split a $10 combo at the food truck near school. You bring your own snack instead. Wednesday, an app on your phone sends a notification about a flash sale on a game skin you don't need. You close the app. Thursday, your aunt hands you a few dollars for helping carry groceries. And instead of letting it disappear into your pocket, you move it straight into the envelope you keep at home, before it has a chance to vanish on something forgettable. By Sunday, you haven't done anything dramatic. You haven't given up your social life or eaten plain rice for a week. You've just quietly said no to 5 small impulses, and yes to one future version of yourself. Here's the counterintuitive part. You'd think the safest place for that money is somewhere completely untouched. Like a piggy bank or cash hidden in a sock drawer. It feels safe because nothing's happening to it. But that feeling is misleading. Cash sitting still doesn't just stay the same value. It actually loses value over time because of inflation. The gradual rise in prices that makes a dollar buy slightly less each year. A $5 bill stuffed under your mattress for 10 years will still say $5 on it. But it won't buy what $5 used to buy. Doing nothing with your money isn't actually safe. It's a slow leak. This is connected to something the psychologist Daniel Kahneman, working alongside Amos Tversky, identified and later won a Nobel Prize for. They called it loss aversion, part of a larger idea known as prospect theory. In simple terms, it means the pain of losing something feels roughly twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining the same amount. That's exactly why spending $5 on something small and forgettable feels easier than watching that same $5 sit in an account doing nothing dramatic. Spending gives you an immediate, visible reward. Saving gives you a slow, invisible one. Your brain is wired to prefer the first, even when the second is objectively better for you. Knowing this changes the game, though, once you understand that your brain is going to fight you on this. You can stop relying on willpower alone, and start relying on systems instead. The economist Richard Thaler, another Nobel laureate, spent his career studying exactly this. His core insight, often called nudge theory, is that small changes to your environment can quietly steer your decisions without you having to fight your own impulses every single time. A simple nudge for you might be moving $5 into a separate savings spot the moment you get it, before your brain has a chance to talk you out of it. Out of sight, out of temptation. At your age, that separate spot is often something called a custodial account. A savings or investment account opened in your name but managed by a parent or guardian until you're old enough to control it yourself. It's not complicated. It's just a designated home for your money, one step removed from your everyday spending. So the $5 doesn't have to survive a fight with your own impulses every single day. You build the habit now. The tools catch up to you later. Now think about your life right now. Today, not at 65. You've got a phone in your pocket that's constantly asking you to buy something. A 2 a.m. scroll through an app turns into a cart full of things you forgot about by morning. A friend's new sneakers make your old ones suddenly feel embarrassing. None of this is your fault. Companies spend enormous amounts of money studying exactly how to make spending feel urgent and saving feel boring. But every single day, you get a tiny rematch. A $5 decision. Spend it, or send it somewhere it can grow. You're holding a $5 bill. It's slightly crumpled, slightly damp, fresh out of your pocket. The vending machine in front of you hums. Your stomach growls. But this time, you already know what $11,000 looks like at 18. And what almost $1 million looks like decades from now. And your thumb moves, not toward the coin slot, but toward your future.